Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the top 10 best point guards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM, but I'm going to be including gambling-only cards in today's list. Yesterday, I did a list of just the non-gambling point guards, the top 10 best point guards that you do not have to gamble for in MyTEAM, so if you want to go check that out, you can do that. But this list is going to include all of them, so for those of y'all out there who do have some of these gambling-only point guards, maybe, this list might be more for you. So I'll also be doing a top 10 non-gambling shooting guards later today, and then a top 10 shooting guards, including gambling cards, tomorrow. That's just how I'm going to do these lists, is by doing both types of list for each position. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Let's start off with this point guard list, and number 10 is going to be the first of many of these gambling only point guards, because unfortunately they do still kind of take precedence at most of these positions, and for most of these spots it's going to be gambling only cards, which is a shame. Not to say that there isn't a bunch of good non-gambling versions though, and some of those guys are still on this list. So 6'7", 6'8", wingspan, hotspots are everywhere. The thing about Luka that makes him really, really good is the versatility, the size. His SIGs and release, neither of them I would say are top tier. His defense is pretty good, especially because of the size and because of solid completeness badge-wise. Athletically, he's more so good because he's a great, he's big player build at the PG spot more than it is that he's a freakishly amazing finisher or slasher or anything like that. And yes, he's a really good shooter, but the release is a little slow, so he's not going to be insane as a shooter. Most of the time in most areas, just because he's not going to be able to get his release off quick enough. SIGs could certainly use a little bit of work. I will say that as well. I like Luka. I think he's a good card. I think he's a very fun card. He's my favorite player in the league right now in real life as well. But I do think as an overall card, I think putting him number 10 is probably fair. Number 9 is going to be John Wall. John Wall is awesomely fun offensively, but I will say his release is almost too fast, and that is kind of a little bit of a knock on him. The other knock, I guess, would probably be size, only 6'3". Other than that, there's not much to knock. He's an amazing playmaker, one of the best slashers in the game, really fun card to use, super solid SIGs, shooting badges, even on all gold, are pretty good. Defensively, he looks very, very solid. Release, like I said, is so fast that it's almost too quick, but Kyrie's dribble style, nice drag back, has a couple of pretty good SIGs. John Wall escape isn't bad either. I don't love his fade, but overall I like his animations. I think he's a pretty good card, and I think he's a viable option at the PG spot for sure. There are better ones in my mind than this John Wall, but he's definitely one of the better point guards in my team. Number 8, and this is too low in some of y'all's minds, I know, but for me personally, and this is my opinion on these lists, at the end of the day, it's my opinion, I'm going James Harden. I know there are people out there who Harden is their favorite point guard in the game. I got a lot of comments yesterday about how I had Harden too low on my list with the non-gambling cards, and I'm sure I'm going to get those comments again. I don't love Harden defensively, and while I do think he's really good offensively, a very capable slasher, really, really nice release, and fun to use as a playmaker, I actually do believe his SIGs, with the exception of his behind the back, are not like that great. His drag back is fine. His escape is not very good. MJ dribble style is good, but I do think there are better ones, and it doesn't give you a great push cross, so doesn't have a great escape or a good push cross. He's kind of limited in some areas in terms of his SIGs, and I'll be honest, his fade isn't bad, but it's also not my favorite. So like, Harden is a very good card. He's an okay defender, maybe not an incredible defender, but yes, he's got a pretty bulky player build, which does help him out of the defensive end, and a good wingspan, so I think he's a very good card. No doubt about it at all. I like James Harden, but for me personally, I think putting him at the number 8 spot is actually totally fair. That might be a little low for y'all, but to me, as good as he is, number 8 is pretty fair on this list. Number 7 is going to be Sidney Moncrief. I really like this Moncrief card defensively. I think he's one of the best defensive point guards in the game. And offensively, he's really good too. He's got a really smooth, easy release, Kyrie dribble style, Steve Francis size up, so that gives him a couple of go-to dribble moves as well. Solidly athletic. Shooting-wise, it could use a little bit of work, although like I said, his release is really nice. So if you do upgrade some of those shooting badges, like adding Agent 3 blinders and limitless range, that does really help him. Could also use the bailout badge and the brick wall badge, but he's one of the best defensive point guards in the game. He's a great playmaker with a couple really good SIGs. Like I said, Kyrie dribble style is super nice. I love his release, and Pro 2 fade is also awesome, not to mention being one of the best defensive guards in the entire game. He's even got a movable enforcer. I love the card, and honestly, I wouldn't even be mad to put him a little higher than this, but number 7 is where I'm going to leave him in today's video. Number 6 is Jason Kidd, who is the exact same card as Sidney Moncrief. These two guys are the exact same card. The only thing that Kidd has over Moncrief, in all honesty, is a higher 3-ball rating and better base shooting badges. But I will say Moncrief's release is probably a little bit better than Jason Kidd's. As a playmaker, Kidd's SIGs are a little better. Well, they're about the same, but I'd say he's got I guess a slightly better behind the back. I don't know. He's got slightly better SIGs, in my opinion. Release-wise, pretty similar. Probably favors Moncrief just a little bit, but Kidd does have the better fade. He's got better shooting badges. They're both really, really good playmakers and defenders. What escape does J Kidd have? Pro escape? That's not amazing. I mean, you could switch these two guys very easily, and I wouldn't argue with you. You could switch all three of these guys, and I wouldn't argue. You could go something like this. I mean, but for me, I think this is probably the fairest list. Kidd's player build's a little better than Moncrief. That's a small edge. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with this. This is probably the fairest way to rank these three guys, but like I said, it's pretty interchangeable. Number 5 is Penny Hardaway. Penny is great, but I will say his release isn't like amazing. It's not bad. I don't mind it at all. It's smooth. It's pretty easy to green. He's a great finisher, great shooter, great playmaker, and great defender. Really good, great all-around card. 6'7", got great size. Super versatile stats all the way around. Releases on quick. It's smooth and easy to green. It's just not insanely fast. You're not going to be 3 hunting with him at a crazy high level. But Trey Escape, MJ dribble style, good SIGs, solid behind the back. Good card. Very, very good card. He's not the best of the best, but he is a very, very good card at the PG spot. I like Penny. Some people might say he is their favorite point guard in the game. I think there are 4 better than him personally, but I will put him at the number 5 spot. Number 4 is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Really, the thing that keeps Shai from being the best of the best at the point guard position is that I don't think his SIGs are like unbelievably great. He has really good size. He's a really good finisher, great shooter, great playmaker, and even a very capable, versatile defender. Very good all-around defensive stats. 85 driving dunk isn't next level great, but the finishing badges are really good. He's got an awesome smooth release, and he's super fast with good playmaking badges. Now, Kyrie escape is nice. MJ dribble style gets the job done. Behind the back isn't great. That Larry Bird hezzy, though, is another one of the hezzies that gives him like a weird same-side burst that doesn't let him trigger that properly. Release on quick is absolutely money, and his fade is one of the best fades in the game, I think, really. I don't even know what fade specifically he has because pro fade is kind of the substitute that they use, but he's got a really good fade as well. It's just that his SIGs could be a little better, especially not having a great same-side burst, not a great behind the back. Those are probably the 2 things I'd nitpick there. Defensively, he's not like the greatest in the world either. I like the card. I think it could be a little better. Austin Reeves is who I have at number 3. Reeves' offense is near unmatched in this game. I just think his movement and his fade and his standstill release are all phenomenal. Not to mention the fact that I actually think he's a pretty good defender. He holds his own defensively. Off clamps glove, off ball pest, gold badges defensively as well. Pretty good stats. Not amazing. Low block rating isn't ideal, but he's also not the best finisher or dunker in the world, but amazing shooter, amazing playmaker, D-book dribble style, Kobe escape, really good behind the back, nice drag back, money release, and Pro 2 fade, which is one of the best. I legitimately think with his upper and Pro 2 fade, might be the best Pro 2 fade in the game. He is an absolute dog on the offensive end of the court. He's basically Devin Booker on steroids. And while Booker doesn't quite crack this top 10, Austin Reeves definitely does. He's high on the list. I'm putting him at the number 3 spot. Number 2 is going to be Lonzo Ball. Lonzo's defense is just phenomenal. He's like a 6'6" sitting Moncrief in a lot of ways. He also has D-book dribble style. Does not have like the best SIGs in the world in some areas. His escape is not very good. His behind the back, Iverson behind the back's okay, but also not unbelievable. D-book dribble style is his best go-to dribble SIG probably. He's got a couple other halfway decent ones, I guess. But Pro 2 fade is still money. Release is actually very solid off the catch and shoot, and he is an incredible defender. Not to mention 95 driving dunk, really good finishing badges, being one of the best slashers in the game as well. Great size, the point guard position, really good playmaking ability. Does still have half agent threes, catch and shoot, and limitless range as well to help him out. Really, really good card. Alonzo's very, very tough at the point guard position. He's even got a movable enforcer as well. Defensively, he's pretty close to unmatched. So great card. But the best point guard in the game is Cade Cunningham. Cade is the only guy with elite size, elite SIGs, and an elite release. There is one flaw with Cade Cunningham, and that is that his fade is not very good. But amazing dunker, amazing shooter, a really good playmaker, and a versatile elite defender as well. He is like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with top-tier SIGs. Trey escape, Steph's dribble style is pretty good. Really, really good behind the back. I think it might be Jamal Murray. John Wall's drag back as well is also elite. Good, better. So he's got a new same-side hezzy that allows him to trigger the same-side hezzy properly. And his release is absolutely money. He just has a bad fade. That's it. I love this card. I think he's awesome. I think you can overlook the fade because he literally does everything else well at a very high level on the court. I think he's the best point guard in the game right now. And this is my list right now. I will say, the Peaches position is really close together. You have these 10 guys and then probably another 5 guys that aren't even on this list that all could be used at a competitive level. There's a lot of really good point guards and they're all really close together. So I wouldn't say the point guard position is one that is completely ruined by this gambling-only stuff, but as a whole, this is my list of the best point guards in the game right now. I will say I left off 100 overall Michael Jordan. I I am decided that even in the gambling only list, or the gambling inclusive lists, I'm still going to leave the 100 overalls out because those cards do not exist. And even for the 1 or 2 people in the game who have each of these cards, I mean, cool, congratulations. But like, I don't know, 100 overalls, not a fan. It is what it is. It is what it is, though, and that is going to do it for this video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.